Hi everyone, it's Nicky Jameson here, and today we're going to look at another feature of Rebelle 6 Pro. So today we're going to look at something called clipping masks. So I had promised I would do a video on clipping masks sooner or later, so I thought I would do that today. A clipping mask is something that is literally what it says, clipped to a mask, and whatever you clip to that mask takes on the appearance and the shape of that mask. So I'm going to show you a set that I had created before, and then we're going to look at doing something similar, just to show you this process. It's a good way to be very creative with your painting in Rebelle. Okay, so you can clip paint, you can clip textures, you can clip photographs, you can clip all sorts of things to your clipping mask, and you can get some very interesting very interesting shapes. I don't know what I've done with my tilt at the moment, so I'm just going to leave it like that for now, and I'll just dry the layer if I want to deal with the drips. So I said I would show you some clipping masks. I'm going to just open this. I've got some layers that I have here, and I'm going to close this for the moment. What I wanted to show you, if I can actually bring it up, what I wanted to show you, I think I have to close some of these things down, is the makings of a clipping mask that I had done, and what I've just done is put it in a group, and I will open all these things again. So this, you'll see that this is the shape that I initially clipped. So if I was to do Control T, I can move this shape around. It's not really a shape, it's an ornate something, or it's an ornate shape. This is a PNG. Okay? And so this is the layer here. I'm just going to say OK. And what I did, and what you do by way of a clipping mask, is to clip several things to it, and it will take on aspects of that mask. So here I have actually clipped a photograph, and I'm just going to click there. You'll see the photograph appear. Now I've clipped it on the canvas, and I've set it to a blend mode called color burn. So you can see I've actually changed the photograph. Now I use clipping masks a lot in Photoshop. It's new in Rebelle, so this is still experimentation as always. It's we have to see what happens as we go along. But anyway, this is the photograph. I also painted a layer. So this is actually a layer I painted on, but to that layer I actually clipped another photo. So I'm going to clip on clipping masks there, and you'll see this is a photo. Just going to go Control T, and I can move that photo around. It's a photo of some flowers. Now you can see that the blend mode still applies. Just going to extend it a bit, and so when I clip on a clipping mask, on the clipping mask aspect or clipping mask feature, by doing right click and do clipping mask, this will clip itself a little bit slowly. Actually, it did it there. I'm not sure why. This will clip the photo, and just say OK. It's going to say OK there. This clips the photo to whatever shape is below that photo. Now, because I've got the painting here, okay, if I click on and off, click this layer visibility, you will see that I can make that appear or disappear. Now you can use this, you can see how you can use this in many different ways. Okay, so I'm going to leave it open for now. Now, if I do clipping masks and it's clipped it to the actual photo. Okay, and that's not really what I want to do. So I'm going to undo clipping mask by clipping on it again. Oops. Let's undo all of these. And first I have to clip all of these back. Then clip. Okay. So what I did is that, if you see, this is the layer here, the shape, the ornate shape here. Really, it's called a cartouche. And then I clipped a photo to it, and I clipped a paint layer to it, to that same shape, and then I clicked a photograph to that shape. Okay, so that's how I got this beautiful image here. And you can carry on clipping lots of things to it. Now I also did another painted layer here, which if I do Control T and move it, oops, let's do OK, and I don't want to select that layer, and I can see it's selected, so I'm going to do Control D, make sure that nothing's selected there. And if I was to clip this to the mask here, you'll see it takes on the painted shape now. Okay, so I'm just going to release that because I don't really want that, and I'm going to hide that layer and take it right back. Now you can move layers interchangeably, so if I move this layer under my photo and open it, you will see that it has still taken on the shape of the paint, but it's also still taking on, this top layer is still controlling whatever is clipped to this mask. Okay, so if I'm to close that layer, and even though it's remaining clipped, it will go back to what I want it to go back to. Okay, so we're going to try and do the same thing. I think I'm going to delete some of these layers here because I added them and I don't really need them. We'll leave that one for now, but we'll hide it, and I'm going to close this group and close it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I've got a layer, this layer above the canvas, which I've called layer 8 because that's the area that it falls into. And okay, let's just do a test there. I'm going to do some, let's see, I've got a pink texture here, and I've got another shape here. So anything underneath the shape is going to be like a background. And I picked these colors here to, I don't really care which color we're going to use, but let's try and use some maybe contrasting colors here. Let's start off with this. Ooh. I don't think I picked yellow, but obviously I did pick yellow. So I want this orangey one. Okay, so I'm going to just make some marks on this with my watercolor brush, and I'm using a round 2. And probably I should get let's just reduce the drip length and the drip size, and let's check the diffusion speed, which is 5. I don't really want it to go that far. Okay, so I'm going to just put some paint strokes here. Let's try another brush. Let's try a flat. I'm going to put lots of water and just paint in. Add. What I should really do is use some contrasting colors, because I know that the texture that I've got is pink. So I really just got that texture out. I just grabbed the texture. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more blue in that. So that's green. It's not blue, it's green. But I actually wanted blue. So okay, I'm really just putting some strokes here, and I would prefer a bigger brush, but I won't. And you can actually, if you can actually increase the size of your brush and make the maximum size a bit bigger. Okay, I'll just close that. I need to close this. Okay, so I've made my brush bigger. So in the brush creator you can actually change your maximum size. And let's do some of this again. So I'm really just trying to cover this side up. Okay, and if you want, you can mix it or you can blend it. Just put it on blend. You can actually blend some of those colors in. I'm not really too bothered about that, so we're going to move on. We're going to go back to paint. So I've now got a painted layer. I've actually got a texture layer as well. So now if I draw this shape down, because I've got this layer hidden, we should be able to see. Okay, so if I move make sure my shape is underneath my background layer, but on so it's the bottom layer. Usually I have a canvas layer there. This is my, but this is on the canvas layer. And so what I've done is, just to show you again here, this is my painted layer, and then I click clipping masks. I can't say the word, and that will clip this to the layer I have just painted. Okay, so if I move it, you'll see that I can move that around there. I'm moving the backgrounds there. Don't forget to press OK at the bottom there. Now, I can paint on that mask, but it will not allow me to paint outside, anywhere outside it. Okay, so I can paint anywhere that is clipped, and it's taken on the shape of that shape that I had there. If I decide to, let's say, clip here, do Control T, and I'm going to press my Shift button to maintain the proportions. If I move that, you can see it's a little bit more clearly, and it's actually larger. Okay, now ideally what I might want to do is go to the clipped layer and maybe make it a little bit smaller. And if I do that, you can see the shape there. So you don't have to just clip you don't have to paint the whole thing. If you want just a piece, part of the painting to show up, you can do that as well. Okay, so I'm just going to do that for now. All I've done is I've reduced the size of the layer. So I've reduced the proportions, and so it's just showing up the clipped layer here. Now I have another texture at the top here, this pink texture. If I open it, it will completely cover the clipped shape. If I right click and do clipping mask, it will also take on the shape of the ornament below. Okay, so, and I can do the same thing. I can do Control T, and I can move that shape around. Now you want to be careful if you've got something with a hard edge. There is a way to get rid of hard edges, but for the most part, if you're using something with a hard edge, you want to make sure that your hard edge is not poking around the shape, because it doesn't look very nice. You can mask off the hard shapes, but I will probably show you that in a different video. Okay, so I've clipped my layer to this, and I also have a photo here. Let's try clipping that. So right click, click, and clipping mask, and here I have clipped it again, and as you can see, it's clipped the photo, but it's also clipped a little bit of a hard edge there. So I would probably move that a little bit to the side, or maybe increase it over. Okay, it's up to you. The main thing is that it's going to take on the shape of whatever you have clipped to. It will take on the shape of whatever's below, so you can choose what shapes you want. Now I have another painted layer, so this layer is not clipped at the moment, and so if I continue to paint on that layer, let's see, we've got some blue here, let's see. If I continue to paint on that layer, you'll see that I can paint wherever I want here. Okay, and I haven't set it on a blend mode. Oops, I don't know whether we want to do that. It's a watercolor, so it's going to have some flow here. I'm just putting this here, and then if I want to clip it, you could just try it, and then if I clip it to the mask again, or I clip it to the pile here, it will also clip to to that shape. Okay, so that is basically how you use clipping masks. They're very, very versatile. You can hide or show any of the layers, and so I have hidden the photograph, for example, and so it just shows what's below here. And if I hide if I hide the texture layer, I get more of this. And I can also, let's put the texture layer back on, I can also change the opacity of any of the layers. If you change the opacity, you get some really nice shape, and you also get if you have any texture on the shape that you've clipped to, you get that showing through. And there is a certain order in which you can do it to make sure your texture shows through, because I actually like a little bit of the texture underneath to show through, like so. Another thing you can do is that you can duplicate any of the layers. So I'm going to, let's just see, new layer. I want to duplicate this layer. So I've duplicated the painted layer, and I can set that. So I've set it up there. If I set that to a blend mode, such as color burn, you can see that it changes here. Now, with the opacity increased, I get more of a shape here. In fact, that looks really quite nice. And then I can pick out, I don't know, maybe the flat dry, and let's pick some. I don't know what we want to paint here. I keep going for that red. I'm not sure. It's just because it's kind of directing me there, because it's complementing it. But basically, you can see that I haven't got a lot of water there, and I haven't made it that opaque. Oh, this really kind of lags if you change it. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. Don't really want that to be happening, do we? But never mind. Let's go for some nice bright rainbow-like colours. Okay, so I've done that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and then left click clipping mask, and once again I've clipped that layer to my mask. Right, so I've actually created a mask. That's what I've done here. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular video. I will do some more videos on creating a clipping mask. It takes a little while to get your head around it, but once you do, you'll find it's very, very easy to do. And as I said, you have a lot of creativity. You can, if you set your layers, you can choose a color. You can set this to color burn. What I did is I clicked the photo there. You can see the difference in what you get. You can duplicate any of the layers. You can change the layers and change the opacity of the layers, of course. And so you can do a lot here. The more layers you have, the more you can change. You want to be wary, because it does appear that the more layers you have, the more it affects the speed of the program, and it takes a lot of resources. But you can still make a few layers and maybe group them and have a lot of fun just changing the paint and just changing what you get and the outcome. So you can be really, really creative. Okay, so I would probably do a couple more videos of this just to show you with other shapes, but I think you get the general idea. So thanks for watching this video, and maybe I'll see you in another video. Bye.